So the only way the predators, usually the way the predators get him is once he's fallen and flipped over, then they can get him because his belly is a little bit softer and his legs are more exposed. So when you don't have any predators, you live a lot longer, because think about it. The reptile continues to grow from the minute they hatch until the minute they die. So what about our extinct reptile friends? The dinosaurs. How old were most of the dinosaurs? Did they live just 15, 20 years like my snake or whatever? No, maybe that's why they were so much bigger. Because they continue to grow from the time they hatch until the time they die. Just like the tortoise gets huge, gets really big, 300 pounds, lives 150 years long. So he lives a long time, he continues to grow, and he just gets bigger and bigger. So, reptiles, insects, arachnid, another cold-blooded family. What is it? Somebody raise your hand. Amphibians. Come on, help me. You kind of just like walked into that one, right? All right, amphibians. You know any amphibians? A frog. Any other amphibians? No. Salamanders, right? Mud eels, those are amphibians. What do you know about amphibians? They live in the water. They live in the water. They're cold-blooded. They do start out their life as a soft-shelled egg, but they actually have a two-part life cycle. You know what that means? What is it? Right. They start out as one thing and they turn to something else. All right. I have with me Jeremiah. Okay, so you're going to hold your two hands out like this. Okay? And I'm going to put these paper towels here because Jeremiah is wet, right? Because they have to stay wet. So I don't want his Jeremiah juice to get on you. Now. Oh. All right. That is it. Characteristics of him, he's really, really big. He's actually not quite full grown. When he's full grown, he'll be about the size of a dinner plate. Full grown, they can be 7 pounds. He's probably only 4. Alright? Now, he's sitting very still. He's not really moving much. Why do you think that is? Anybody know how he gets his food? By waiting. He is actually an ambush hunter. So he sits on the side of the bank and he kind of blends in with the bank and he waits. And his food actually comes to him. When his food gets close, he goes and he gets it and he has a nice little snack. Someone said with his tongue, maybe that's on cartoons, little frogs stick out their tongue and grab the food. Some frogs do that. This guy right here, he'll basically eat anything that he can fit in his mouth. In captivity, we feed him small mice, crickets, mealworms, okay? Now, how do frogs get their water? Do they walk up to the water bowl and drink it? No. We already said they are wet, slimy, because they absorb the water through their skin, right? Because frogs absorb water through their skin, they actually have a really hard time in the environment. So, I told you insects. There's more insects on the planet than any other animal. Did you know that amphibians are the largest group of animals going endangered and extinct every year? There's more amphibians that are endangered and extinct every year. So how come that would be? What's happening to them? What's happening to them? What do y'all think? What? Do you know? Don't tell them. What do you think? How come there's more amphibians going endangered and extinct every year than any other species? Yes, pollution, water pollution. I'm not sure that an adult didn't tell that. Water pollution. Okay, so we're polluting the water. They absorb the water through their skin. That poisons them. They die. You know what? If one species dies, it's sad. A whole bunch of species die. Whatever those species eat gets bigger, right? They eat insects. So they eat things like mosquitoes, things that cause malaria, things that cause us to be sick. So we don't want a species to die out, even if we don't, frogs, I don't really care about frogs. Frogs aren't that cool. Frogs, you can have them as pets, but they don't love you back, for sure. You can't touch them, because if you touch them, you're going to clog up their skin, right, and then they die. I just put hand sanitizer on. If I touch him 5 times today, after having hand sanitizer on my hand, after a while, the hand sanitizer is going to seep into his skin, it's going to poison him, and he's going to be sick. So that's how come. They're fragile. And so our ecosystem is actually very, very fragile. When we kill off one species, that affects the other species. So then the mosquitoes get to be too many. And then once the mosquitoes get to be too many, and they start biting humans, and then humans start to die. And other things, other animals. So it's a trickle-down effect. Now, when my girlfriend over here, what's your name, sweetheart? Haley was holding him. She's like freaking out. She's like, this thing is creepy. He's big. She probably thought he was fat. Did you think that kind of a little bit? Yeah. It's okay. Here's the deal. The funny thing is, that's not fat. Those are his bladders. What do we keep in our bladder? Pee, urine, right? So let me tell you this really cool adaptation that he has. So 70% of his body weight, over half of his body weight is urine. That sounds disgusting. He lives in Africa. There's a drought in Africa. The water stops raining for a period of time. The ponds dry up and there's no more water. He needs to be able to stay wet to survive. He digs a little hole. He slowly releases a little bit of that urine every single day. As he's releasing that urine, it's staying in that hole with him. It's keeping him wet. He's surviving. He gets really skinny. It's better than the Atkins diet, right? Better than the Whole30. He's going to be super skinny. At the end, then he comes back out. What happens after the dry season? Rainy season. He fills back up. He gets all big and full. So he's built to survive. That's an adaptation that helps him survive. Survival of the fittest, right? Whatever you do, you have to adapt to your surroundings, or else they would just shrivel up and die during the drought. We wouldn't have any frogs at all. So that's kind of cool. It's a cool thought to think about, some way that he survives. All these animals, the lizard, he survives by being able to whip that tail around, and he whips that tail around, and then predators get the tail like him. Each one of these animals have a particular thing about them that helps them survive in their little place in the world. Okay, amphibians, we're done. Insects, we're done. Arachnid, we're done. Reptiles, we're done. What are some groups of animals that we haven't talked about? Raise your hand, don't yell out.
The dog.
Raise your hand, don't yell out. Dog is not a particular family of animals. Yes, the dog is actually a species. All right, yes. Mammals. There's one more. In the water. Keep on swimming, keep on swimming. Fishes. Okay. So, fish have gills. Fish have to live in the water. I don't have any fish. Fish have fins. Fish don't travel well. But would you like to come up here and show us a fish face? Come on.
I'm not very good at that.
Yes, you are. Come on, and then you're going to do it, and we're all going to do it. So why does the fish make this? What's your name?
Dylan.
Dylan, right here. Turn around. You ready? Give me a fish face.
I can't. It's
You ready?
It's so funny. It's hard to do it.
I know, you have to laugh and then do it. Okay, ready? Perfect. Everybody do a fish face. Oh my gosh, some of you are really good at this. All right, give yourself a big round of applause. Okay, you are absolutely right. I don't have a fish. You can't travel with a fish. But fish are important too. But the fish need water to survive, right? Fish have to live in the water. They have gills instead of lungs. They have fins. Okay, someone said birds. Unfortunately, I don't have a bird with me today. But tell me some characteristics of birds.
They fly.
They fly. Why do they fly?
No,
Because they have feathers. Because their bones are hollow. Guess what else? I never really thought about it until I started working for Animal Tales, and we used to talk about this when we traveled sometimes with a bird with a really big beak. We don't have him traveling with us anymore because he got very angry and moody and hormonal. But they don't have any teeth. Teeth are heavy. Imagine, that's why they have beaks. I never really thought about it. They have beaks because they don't have teeth, because teeth are heavy. So do you think you could fly very well with a mouth full of, I mean, think about how light they are so they can fly. If they had a beak full of teeth, they would always be going every time they took off, right? Their beaks would be heavy, so they don't have teeth. Now, we had some hornbills. Whoa! Their beaks were, bills were big or whatever, but you want to call it, but they don't have teeth. So their bones are hollow. So they're different because so that they can fly. They do lay eggs. That's one thing that's similar to all these other animals. All these other animals lay eggs. Even the fish lay eggs, right? Except for the mammals. Who said mammals? You said mammals? Come on. What's your name? Aaron? Awesome. All right, Aaron, let's see. I want you to stand here. I do not have a monkey. I'm sorry. Did you know that, we're still in Tennessee. I was in Kentucky late last night, so I was keep thinking Kentucky. You can have a monkey in Tennessee, but you can't travel to Kentucky with a monkey, which we do a lot. So, all right. Tell me a characteristic of a mammal. They don't lay eggs. They have their babies born alive. Live birth. Their babies are born alive. Have you helped me? No, it's your turn. Come on. What's your name? Kenzie. Right over here, water in it. We're going to do this 4 times today. She can have milk 4 times because then she'll stink. Okay. You, sir, are going to give her a snack. So, you're going to hold the bowl. You're going to have to hold it pretty tight because she's going to try to take it from you, okay? All right. We're going to do the bottle first, then the snack. We're going to do the bottle. If she wants it, she'll drink it from you for a few minutes. If she doesn't, I'll take her and try to wrestle with her. I'll walk around with her, and then she'll come back and have the snack, and then we'll walk around with her, okay? All right. So what is she? Coati. A coati is an animal that lives in South and Central America. We live in North America. Can we find coati in Tennessee? No. All right. So there are no coati in Tennessee, but there is a cousin to the coati that does live in Tennessee. Now, I'm putting the sweatshirt on because I want to keep my arms from getting all scratched up today. So the coati lives, it's an arboreal creature. Arboreal. Does anybody know what the word arboreal means? Yes, lives among the trees, the tops of the trees. So Camilla is going to stay high, probably. She's going to climb down my shoulder, and she's going to go to you, and you're going to hold the bottle in there, and she's going to drink it. So she spends the bulk of her life in the trees, in the rainforest, to be exact. All right, here we go. So Camilla here is about, remember I told you she's about 6 months old. Okay, hold it up a little higher. Just a little higher. There you go. Oh, look at that. She's doing such a good job. All right, yes, she's almost too old for a bottle. So, there we go. Good job. All right. All right, so, Camilla here, what is her cousin? I said her cousin lives in North America. What do you think it is? Raccoon. Raccoon. She's very closely related to the raccoon. Now, there are some differences. You can see, obviously, her nose is different than a raccoon. Her nose is built like this because, well, first of all, let's talk about her claws. She has really sharp claws, right? She lives in the top of the trees in the rainforest. She uses these claws to dig the bark off of the trees. She uses her nose to dig out the insects underneath the bark. Some of her favorite foods: ants, termites, scorpions, small little spiders, okay? Those are the things she would be digging out underneath the bark of the trees. Now, kids always ask me, can she hang from her tail? No, she cannot. An animal that can hang from its tail, it's a prehensile tail. She does not have a prehensile tail. So the reason she has this really long tail, it does have a purpose. Imagine you're walking on a balance beam. Can you walk on a balance beam with your hands down? You put your hands out, right? Usually, well, she walks with her hands, so she has her tail. It kind of helps her balance, right? It helps her balance. Also, their tails actually are one way that they communicate with each other. So the tail's straight up in the air and swinging left to right means there's danger and we're moving out. A group of coatimundis actually is called a troop, kind of like a group of monkeys. They are not in the primate family. They're in the Pernocti family. I don't know if that helps you pick out which one this is. Pernocti. There it is. It's the one flipped over. So is the raccoon, and so is the possum. Let's see. She's not full grown. She's 7 months old. She'll get to be almost double this size when she is full grown. Other questions? Yes. She's a mammal, so they're born alive. They have small litters of 3 to 4. She's an omnivore. Did I tell you guys that? She eats both plants and fruits and vegetables and meat. So she eats meat and vegetation. Let's see. Do we have any other questions?
Can she pick stuff up like raccoons?
Yes, she can. She can pick stuff up like raccoons. Where they live in South and Central America, Costa Rica, Argentina, Portugal, places like that, they're actually considered a nuisance animal. Okay? Why do you think that would be? Because they'll get in your trash, get in your food. That's right. Because they have those little hands. It's gone. You ate it all. So, all right, Camilla, you did awesome. Way to go. Good job. Thank you, volunteers. Okay, I do have one more mammal. Let's see. My last mammal. Okay, I'm going to clean off the table a bit before I get him out. Her out. Her name is Taylor. Now, Taylor is in the canine family. Can you name some animals in the canine family? Dog. What else is in the canine family besides dog? Wolf. What else? Coyotes. Good job. You guys know some canines. Way to go. All right. You guys have to give me a second because it is really warm in here. And if I had Camilla get on me 4 or 5 times a day, she would eventually scratch my shirt. Okay, so let's see. So I'm going to get Taylor out, and you're going to look at Taylor, you're going to go, oh, I know what this is. This is a dog, and we're going to talk. It is a dog. She's a New Guinea singing dog. And we're going to talk about, but she's a wild breed of canine. We're going to talk about what makes her a wild breed of canine and some things about her that are different than the canines that might live at your house that are domestic pets. Okay? All right. So, some things that are a little bit different about her. One is her back legs. Her back legs, her hind legs kind of rotate out, and she's able to climb trees, climb fences. She is a predator. So the animals that she eats are her prey. Another thing that's really cool about Taylor that makes her a little bit different is she has an extra set of canine teeth in her mouth that allows her to eat the entire prey, even the bones and the beak and the toes, the whole thing. Another thing about Taylor that makes her extra special is the way that she communicates with her pack. So, she doesn't do a lot of barking, but instead, the way that she communicates is she howls. Each New Guinea singing dog pack has their own harmony, and they can recognize the sound of their pack mates by the howling sound that they make, and they can hear this and recognize it up to 3 miles away. Now, would you guys like to hear her howl? Yes. Okay, here's how it works. I am going to make the sound. Taylor's been living with me since she was about 8 weeks old. I have learned how to make the sound like her sisters do in her pack. I'm going to make the sound. You guys are going to join in because one New Guinea singing dog talking to one New Guinea singing dog is not very impressive. But if all of us sound like a New Guinea singing dog, like her pack, she will answer us. Okay? All right. So I'm going to start. I'm going to make the sound, and you guys are going to join in. When you join in, she's going to answer us, okay? Here we go. All right, hold on, Taylor. I want you to be facing them so they can see you. Ready? All right, here we go. Let's do it together. Okay, so Taylor is actually on the conservation list. Taylor is a member of the canine family that was considered extinct in the wild up until about 30 years ago. There's actually only about 120 New Guinea singing dogs left in captivity. Most of these New Guinea singing dogs live in private animal foundations like Animal Tales or in zoos. So, scientists in Australia, which is the closest country to Papua New Guinea, which is where they're from, those scientists have been working together to release breeding pairs back into the wild. Up until about 5 years ago, they didn't think these efforts were very successful, but then last year there were actually 5 pups that were photographed in the wild. So they think that there's a possibility that the New Guinea singing dog is making a comeback in the wild thanks to conservation efforts. Now, one of the reasons that the New Guinea singing dog became extinct in the wild was because of human intervention. Now, the New Guinea stinging dog loves to eat livestock. So the farmers would kill the New Guinea stinging dogs because they were getting their livestock, their baby calves, or their baby pigs, their baby goats or sheep. Also, before that, their numbers were already super low because the people that live in Papua New Guinea are called Aboriginals. And the native people believed in witch doctors. The witch doctors told them that if they would kill the evil spirits with the glowing eyes in the woods, their crops would grow and their livestock would thrive. Well, the evil spirits in the woods with the glowing eyes were the New Guinea stinging dogs. So in a way, the people killed them out. And so that's why the conservation groups are working to bring them back, because they didn't die out on natural causes because of a difficulty in the ecosystem. They died out because of human intervention. Now, we're not going to pet Taylor because Taylor is an endangered species, and you guys all probably have a domestic dog living at your house or have come in contact with a domestic dog, and they have different diseases and germs that she could possibly catch. But you've done great. You did a really good job. I'm going to put her up, and then we're going to talk. I don't know